Okay, today we're going to look into positive and negative numbers a little bit more. So when we look at these examples, and we talked about them in class, that in the Arctic, minus 58 degrees is very cold. So just to give you a visual of what that is, we have ice, icebergs, freezing cold temperatures. And then when we talk about the desert, it's plus 37 degrees. So you see that there's cacti, sun, sand, and hot temperatures. So what we talked about in the introduction in the warm-up was our counters. So we can represent positive and negative numbers with counters. So we're still using the yellow counter as a positive one and the negative counter as a as red as a negative one. And right here, this is called a zero pair. So you have one positive and one negative. That makes a zero pair. So what is this number? When we're looking at this one together, all we can do is cancel out a positive and a negative, a positive, a negative, a positive, negative, a positive, a negative, and another positive, another negative. So we know that this number is all canceled out. We have all zero pairs, and that number makes zero. When I'm looking into positive and negative numbers, here I'm asking myself how many different positive and negative whole numbers can you represent using these counters? So I have 5 yellow, 5 positive counters, and I have 5 red, 5 negative counters. So what I could do, just for an example, you don't have to use them all. I'm going to use 2 yellow and 1 red. So I have 2 positives and 1 negative. I know that I can make 1 zero pair, so these cancel out, and I have 1 yellow that's left. So that's my whole number answer. I just want you to pause the video, take a second, and do a couple of these. So try to find 6 others that you can find with a different whole number answer by using the yellow and red counters up here. So take a second, pause the video, and you can try that on your own. We're going to move on. We're going to add following positive numbers using counters. So when we're adding positive numbers, it's just like adding numbers that we're used to. So we don't even have to look at the plus signs in front. We're just adding 5 and 4. So you can count how many are there, or for us in grade 7 and 8, we should know right away that 5 and 4 is 9. It's one less than 10. So 5 plus 4 more positives gives me 9 positives. Okay. Now, when I'm doing with negatives, the same thing. Add the following negative numbers using the counters. So here's where people get a little bit confused. We need to add them all together. So it's like you owe somebody $5, okay? And then you owe them another $3. So how much money in total do you owe them? You owe them a total of $8. And you can count up your counters or you can just do that in your head. But when you're adding your negative numbers, there's going to be more negatives, okay? Because you're adding all red, so there's going to be more red, more negative numbers. So when we try to put that together and we add positive and negative numbers using counters, we are going to put our negatives or our positives first. It doesn't matter. But as you can see here, they put the -5 first and then the +3 second. They made 1 zero pair, 2 zero pairs, 3 zero pairs, and they're left over with 2 negatives. So your answer is -2. Like it says, there are 3 zero pairs and 2 red counters left over. So 2 negatives left over looks like this. You can use this website. I think it's Go Math. It's French, but you can use it for just the answers or just the questions. Go Math with an S dot ch, and you can just practice your addition only if you wanted to go to that right now. There's more questions that you can use to practice. I'm just going to skip this page right here. And I'm going to talk about the weather. So we're going to talk about a thermometer and we're going to talk about all the positive numbers. So we're looking right here. I know it's small, but this is the 0 line right here. So freezing temperatures, okay, start at 0. Anything above that 0 line is positive, hot temperatures, above boiling or above freezing temperature, and everything below is negative numbers, really cold temperatures. So we're in winter right now. We're talking more so about below 0. When we get back into spring and summer, we'll be talking above 0. Okay, so when we want to add positive and negative numbers, sometimes it's a little bit easier with a number line. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how they added 4 positives and 2 more positives to get their answer of 6. So they started at 0 and they jumped to 4. So they added 4 positives. And then what they did is they started back at 4 and added 2 more to get to 6. This one down here is a little bit more complicated. So they started at 0, they added their 4, they got to 4, but then it said add on 2 more negatives. So usually adding, you're going to the right, but since it's negative, anything negative, you have to go to the left. So we're adding on 2 negatives. So all the way back there, and our answer is 2. And you can look at that as it's just like 4, take away 2. Okay, so all together, I'm going to let you take a moment and try these ones, A, B, C, D, no, E, and F. So what I want you to do is just pause the video, take this number line. I'm going to do A by myself here, and then I can let you go on with the rest. So A is the same one as above, so let's do B. I am going to add 3, and then I'm going to add on 4 negatives. So I have to jump back 4 spots, and my answer is -1. Okay? You can use that number line here to practice as many numbers as you want, make up your own questions, do it with a friend, but this is something that we need to know how to do on a number line. Okay, so adding integers with a number line again. This is just the steps to make sure that we're not confused. So start at 0. What I'm going to do here is go back to -2. So start at 0, draw an arrow, or I like to jump to -2, 2 units to the left. Now I'm going to start there. I don't start back at 0. I start at -2, and then I'm going to add 3 positives. So I'm going to jump 3 spots, which gives me an answer of 1. And that makes sense to me because I had 2 negatives and 3 positives. I had 1 more positive. Okay, let's try the bottom one. It's a little bit different. It's the same numbers, but I'm going to start at 0, jump back -2, just like it says to do here. Now I'm going to add on 3 more negatives. So when I have 3 more negatives, I have to jump back to the left 3 more spots, and my answer here is -5. A lot of people get confused with this adding sign right here. Please don't, because it's just adding on more negatives, adding on more red. You're going to be more in the negative if you owe people money. Or if it's -10 degrees out and it drops another 5 degrees, it's more cold. It's lower temperature. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is this just shows you, if you want to take a minute, pause the video, it shows you exactly what they've done here. So take a second and look at each one. Okay, they started at 0, they went back -1, -1, and then they jumped up 3 to get an answer of +2. I just really want you to take a second and look at these because it's really going to help you and explain more than I could if you missed class today. So just take a second and look over those. You can pause the video. Okay, what I'm going to stop with here is if you want to go on the National Virtual Library of Manipulatives, so you can use a virtual number line here. And what it's called, or you can just go on that website, just Google National Library of Virtual Manipulatives, and you can use a virtual number line and you can practice some problems there as well. So once you do all this, you will be a rock star in integers and you will have no problem in class. So good luck, and I hope this helped you out. Have a great day, and we'll see you this week.